He explained that the dream foretold 7 years of abundant harvest, followed by 7 years of severe famine.
Joseph advised the king to store surplus grain during the years of plenty to prepare for the years of scarcity.
The king was so impressed by Joseph's knowledge, integrity, and ability that he not only freed him from prison, but also appointed him to a high position in Egypt, entrusting him with the management of the nation's resources. This marked the beginning of Joseph's rise to prominence, fulfilling God's divine plan for him. During the years of famine, Jacob and his family living in Canaan were affected by the shortage of food. Jacob sent his sons, except for his youngest son, Benjamin, to Egypt to buy grain. When they arrived, they did not recognize Joseph, now a powerful man in Egypt. However, Joseph recognized them. He provided them with food, but asked them to return with their youngest brother, Benjamin, the next time they came. Before they left, Joseph secretly returned their belongings and money to them, instructing his servants to place the items back into their bags. When the brothers discovered this, they saw it as a sign of trust, which they used to persuade their father Jacob to allow Benjamin to accompany them on their next trip to Egypt. They reassured Jacob, saying that the governor of Egypt had treated them well and would expect them to bring Benjamin with them next time. Despite Jacob's deep reluctance, as he feared losing Benjamin the way he had lost Joseph, the brothers' insistence and the returned items convinced him to let Benjamin go. When the brothers returned with Benjamin, Joseph, still hiding his identity, devised a plan. He placed his royal cup in Benjamin's sack, and after they had left, his guards caught up with them, accusing them of theft. The brothers, unaware of Joseph's plan, were shocked when the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. They pleaded for his release, with the eldest brother offering to take his place. However, Joseph insisted that the thief should remain in Egypt as a punishment. Instead of defending Benjamin, they tried to separate themselves from him, saying, "If he has stolen, a brother of his has stolen before." This was a reference to their past jealousy towards Joseph, even though they had falsely accused him before. Joseph kept his emotions in check, but felt their words deeply. The brothers were distressed, especially since their father Jacob had warned them not to return without Benjamin. Overwhelmed with guilt and responsibility, the eldest brother chose to remain in Egypt, saying he could not face their father again. He told the others to return to Canaan and explain the situation. When the brothers returned to Canaan and told Jacob what had happened, he was heartbroken. Already devastated by the loss of Joseph years earlier, this new blow deepened his sorrow. He famously said, "Patient is the most fitting, sabrun jamil, and perhaps Allah will bring them all back to me." His grief was so intense that he lost his eyesight from weeping. Despite his anguish, Jacob remained steadfast in his faith. He instructed his sons to return to Egypt and search for Joseph and Benjamin, expressing hope in Allah's mercy. Before they departed, Jacob gave them a specific piece of advice. "Oh, my sons, do not enter the city from one gate, but enter from different gates. And I cannot avail you against the decree of Allah at all. The decision is only for Allah. Upon Him I have relied, and upon Him let those who rely indeed rely." Jacob's wisdom in advising them to enter through separate gates was to avoid attracting attention as a large group of brothers, to protect them from potential envy or harm. The brothers followed their father's advice and returned to Egypt. This time they humbly pleaded with Joseph for assistance, admitting their dire need and poverty. Moved by their sincerity, Joseph finally revealed his true identity to them, saying, "I am Joseph, and this is my brother Benjamin. Allah has indeed been gracious to us." Shocked and ashamed, the brothers recalled their past misdeeds and sought Joseph's forgiveness. Joseph responded with kindness and mercy, saying, "No blame will there be upon you today. May Allah forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." Joseph then instructed them to take his shirt back to their father and said, "Go with this shirt of mine and cast it over my father's face. He will regain his sight. Then bring your family to me." The brothers returned to Canaan with Joseph's shirt. As they approached, Jacob, despite his blindness, sensed their arrival and said, "Indeed, I smell the scent of Joseph." When they placed the shirt over Jacob's face, his eyesight was miraculously restored by the will of God. Overjoyed, Jacob expressed his gratitude to God, saying, "Did I not tell you that I know from Allah that which you do not know?" The family then traveled to Egypt as Joseph had instructed. Upon their arrival, the long-separated family was finally reunited. Joseph embraced his parents and siblings warmly. His father Jacob and the family bowed before Joseph in a gesture of respect and gratitude, fulfilling the dream Joseph had as a child. Joseph concluded his story with a heartfelt prayer, thanking God for his mercy and seeking steadfastness in worship and faith. Joseph's childhood dream came true as his father and brothers bowed to him in respect and gratitude, not as a form of worship, but as a recognition of his status and the fulfillment of God's will. Joseph thanked God for the blessings he had bestowed upon him, for reuniting him with his family, and for guiding him through all the trials he had faced. He prayed to live and die in a state of submission to God, grateful for the wisdom and mercy that he had shaped his life. Jacob spent his remaining years in peace in Egypt, surrounded by his sons and family. Before his death, he advised his children to remain true to the worship of the one God, following the path of their forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and himself. Until next time, may peace and blessings be upon you.